This has been a NowMedia Television feature presentation. All rights reserved. Broadcasting live from Houston, from the space city to the world. You are watching NowMedia Television.
Welcome to Power CEOs, the truth behind the business. I'm Jen Gaudet, your fearless host, entrepreneur, investor, and business strategist. And I'm here because I believe that iron sharpens iron. When we work together and we talk with those who are successful in their respective fields and share what's working and maybe even some of what's not, we're able to link arms, grow together. And we all know that as entrepreneurs and executives, when we grow together and we thrive, the ripple effect impacts not just ourselves, our families, our teams, and their families, but also our clients, our communities, and our world. I'm really excited today because I'm bringing here to studio an amazing human being. He is a deal maker. He is a negotiator. He was known as the Hollywood Fixer. Best-selling author Ori Spado, welcome to the studio.
Good morning, Jen. How are you today?
Fantastic. I'm really
happy
excited
to be here.
Yep, I'm excited to have you here too. So Ori, you have written your book, The Accidental Gangster, and now it's being translated into film version. And so I think the first thing I want to ask you is, how were you called to write your story? What was it? What purpose drove you to put that on paper and to have it published in the first place?
Well, that's a long story. You know, I've been an avid reader all my life. I remember I used to get more stars than anybody else when I was a child at Jervis Library in Rome, New York, because I read most books. And while in prison, I read over 300 books. And while I was in Lompoc walking the yard, all you got to do, you know, you're in prison, you're thinking. And I thought that if I ever wrote a book, I would name it The Accidental Gangster, not thinking that I ever would. However, upon my release from prison, I was having dinner at the Four Seasons Hotel with my entertainment lawyer, George Hayden. When he looked at me and he says, Ori, write a book and we'll get a movie made. He says, I know your story. So I looked for a co-author, a writer, and all I knew was script writers. So I started doing it myself. About 3/4 of the way, I found my editor, a kid that I went to high school with who wrote over 20 books, Dennis Griffin, and thus my first book was born. And today I'm at my third book. It's been, you know, basically it's the same book. I've been re-edited, I've redone a lot of it, I've added and so forth. And in this book here, there's something very amazing. It's the letters at the end of the book. People really love it that I have written to people who are deceased and some people who are alive. And thus it was born, and I'm very fortunate that I met a gentleman 3 years ago, George Gallo, who wrote Midnight Run. He did 29th Street, Middlemen, over 50 movies, several TV shows. And he's going to be directing The Accidental Gangster. We have a script. George will be redoing it a little bit, as directors always do. And we're going to have a movie made here shortly. So I'm very excited about that. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I know, because we've spoken before and I've heard you speak on stages before as well, that you said if it helps one young man stay out of a life of crime, that it is worth putting out your story for the masses to hear. And as a fellow author, I know that it's very hard sometimes to be vulnerable and real especially because once it's in print, you can't put that genie back in the bottle. So
No,
tell me,
you know,
how did you navigate through that? Because you've been very real, very open in your book about things that have happened in your life personally, things that you've come through. What really prompts you and drives you and keeps you moving forward on this path?
Well, you know what? And in my book, I do say that if I help one young man, I've helped several young men all over the world. I even stopped a young man in India that I talked to on the phone several times who wanted to commit suicide. And I saved his life. And, you know, the things that I've done for young men, those are the things that make me a very happy individual at my young age of 78 years old. And I keep doing that and helping countless young men and women stay out of a life of crime. And I try to tell them every day, and I do. And besides keeping them out of a life of crime, I give them advice of how to become an entrepreneur, how to start a business, how to find something they love, because you want to be successful in life. You got to love what you're doing. And I firmly believe in that there, and it's proven itself over and over and over again.
Absolutely. And Ori, you know, a lot of people would go through some of the adversity that you've had in your life, and I really enjoyed reading your story because you've done so much. You've been through so much adversity, and when we as entrepreneurs think about adversity, we think about, the challenges of making the next deal, of negotiating, like the challenges of payroll and those kind of things. But your level of adversity in your life has been a whole other level. Sometimes it was life or death. I mean, you faced a lot of things. You went to prison. Those are adversities that many people would not overcome. So tell me a little bit about how you were able to keep moving forward when the times got really rough or when you were challenged in those ways. Because I truly believe, and that's what I believe in here too, if we impact one person and help them with their persistence and to continue to grow, then we've done a service in the world. So what were the things that kept you moving through adversity, and how were you able to overcome some of the fears and some of the challenges that you faced?
Well, I think it all stems from, I've been a hustler since I was age 12 years old. I've been hustling all my life. And, I've done a lot of good, a lot of bad, and a lot of ugly. And I take full responsibility for everything in my life. I feel that, the life that I have lived was laid out for me. It was my destiny, and I lived it. I had no regrets, because regrets are negative thoughts. I can't go back. I can't change things. So the only thing that I could do is make things better in the future. And that's what I continuously try to do. All right. Going to prison. I knew the day was going to eventually come that I'd be going to prison. There was no two ways about it. Okay, if you're in a life of crime, you're going to go to prison or you're going to end up dead. I believe and I live my life with love, honor, loyalty, and respect. And it's those things that kept me alive on the streets and knowing what I was doing. Because you got to know what you're doing every single second. Not every minute, every second. You got to know where you're at, who's around you, what you're saying to so-and-so. You got to be careful of the words that you say and how you say it. So I'm happy that I'm here. I lived that life. I know I was going to go to prison, and people ask me, how was it? Well, look, prison ain't great. But, I'll be honest with you, the day I got arrested, my mind switched. Everything happens in our mind. And it switched, and I was in prison, and that's what I had to do. Okay, so I had to fight my case, which I did. I was very blessed, very fortunate. Had a good judge. I ended up getting 62 months in prison. I did my time, kept my mouth shut. And my father's the one who taught me never squeal on anybody. Okay? And I believe that. People should not be out there ratting snitching on other people. What other people do is not your business. What other people do is not my business. If they're going to do it, they're going to do it. I can't stop them. I try. Try to give them the proper advice. Some people take it. And those are the people that you work with. Some are going to ignore you. That happens all the time. But, you know, we keep going, and life is good. I'm a very blessed man. I have 3 wonderful children. I have 6 grandchildren. I'm very blessed. I talk to them all. They all love me. I love them. I even talk to my ex-wife sometimes. And, you know, we're in Florida. We'll get together. We get together as a family. And, you know, I'm fortunate. I got 4 people that I can count as friends on my fingers there.
That is really fortunate. That is exceptionally fortunate. Some people are lucky, you know, when we get into a life of business, especially in negotiation, and when we're doing a lot of things in life, we're lucky to have 2 or 3. So to have 4 is truly blessed.
Look at, even at my age, I was in a situation recently, still continuing, it's going to end, okay, where I did a lot for a particular individual, and then he lied to me. And he lied to me on something that he did not have to lie about. He lied to me on something because his ego got so inflated with what he was doing, the people that he was talking to, and these people were only talking to him because of me, because I gave my word. But, you know, I sit back, relax, I think, and I'll handle it my way.
Absolutely, and you've been through you've had so much in your life, and you were an expert at negotiation. For those who have not read Ori's book, pick it up, The Accidental Gangster. You can find it on his website. You can also find it on Amazon. But there were many times when you were negotiating between people, and it seems that you always kept your head and always had a level of respect for everyone at the table, no matter what was going on. Tell me a little bit about how you developed that skill set and how you're able to maintain that cool, if you will, when you're sitting, especially when you're sitting between 2 very big egos.
You know, I think that skill set comes from my ability of being a good salesperson. And, you know, I was leading agent with a Prudential Insurance Company. I started my own business, the Ori Agency. I was a pioneer in the automobile after-sale business. And in selling something, okay, you can't be selling somebody and it's only a one-sided deal, okay? It's got to be a give and take on both sides. And in negotiations, number one, you know, people look at me and they automatically think I'm a gangster, okay? So I got that going for me. I have my voice going for me. So as a fixture in Hollywood and understanding human beings, you see, selling is 98% understanding human beings, 2% product knowledge. Remember that, 98% understanding human beings, 2% product knowledge.
And
you gotta understand people.
Part of that understanding of people comes from listening to people, right?
That's right.
And
another famous saying of mine, and you've heard it before, God gave us 2 ears, 1 mouth. He wants to do twice as much listening as talking. And that's where a lot of people fail, because they don't listen, and they fail as a result of that there.
And Ori, I think it's even beyond just listening, because when I read your story, what I got is you listened to understand. You listened to understand their perspective. You didn't listen to respond. And so it's not just enough to listen. You also have to listen to understand the other perspectives, and kind of take that objective perspective. There's the person A's perspective, person B's perspective, but there's always the truth somewhere in the middle. So how is it that you're able to be so adept at that? Is there something that those who are watching or listening could learn or can practice, that they can start to get better at listening, to understand and to see that other perspective?
Well, I'm going to tell you a story. During the Colombo War in the 90s, I was down in Florida, and the kid that I knew from Utica, New York, which is right up the road from Rome, New York, the kid I knew for many years, he messed up. His life was in danger. And it was with two May guys out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Well, one out of Fort Lauderdale, the other out of West Palm Beach. And this guy went running, and somebody said, "You better call Corey." I made a call to New York, and somebody was supposed to fly in and handle the sit down. But the Colombo War was going on in New York, so they called me and says, "I got to handle the sit down." Now here I was, I had three guys at a table. One guy that I knew, practically grew up with, and two other guys who were May members. I was not a May member. But they understood, they knew who I was, and they respected that. And I had to sit down. We sat down in a coffee shop in West Palm Beach, Florida. And I had to listen to all the sides. And then I had to make the decision of who was wrong. And what it was is my friend had sent two guys to rob a guy at his home, a guy that owned a steak joint in Palm Beach area. And the guy happened to be connected to these other guys. So he went and robbed this guy without proper permission, without doing things the right way. And after I analyzed it, I had to go against the guy that I knew. He was wrong. He got caught at it. That's very wrong. And, the robbery, it was like $15,000 that they stole from the guy. Obviously, the guy didn't have the money. So I told him, I said, every Friday, you got to go to that steakhouse. If you had a good week, you give the guy a few hundred. But you go in there, you have a bad week, you give him $20. I don't care how much you give them. But you got to be there every week until that $15,000 paid off. And that was the remedy to the situation. Everybody was happy with that. He admitted he was wrong. We departed. It was the end of it. Both sides were happy because a decision was made. But that decision could only be made by me listening and, not like these people we got in Washington. I'm very partisan. Okay, you got to listen and work on both sides and know what you're doing. You got to know the rules. There's rules. We live in a world. We have laws and stuff that we have to abide by. In the life that I lived in, we have rules upon that there, which are totally different that we must abide by. And if you don't abide by those rules, it can cause you your life.
Major repercussions. And so my next follow-up to that, because you became the person that everyone went to. You became the Hollywood fixer. And that had to happen through listening, and it also had to happen through building relationships, because how did people know to call you to begin with? Like, talk to me a little bit about that, because I know that let's take entrepreneurship. In business, a lot of business is related to how are you with relationship building? Do you do what you say you're going to do? Do you do the right things when you negotiate? Is it a win-win situation? But it's a relationship business, much like what you experienced in every area of your life. So how was it that you were able to build that trust in those relationships to the point where you were the person that everyone knew to call?
Well, first thing that I always do, and you read this book, okay? Every word in this book is the truth. Every word that comes out of my mouth is the truth. I cannot condone somebody who lies. Okay? So you always got to be truthful in everything you do in life. Don't let your ego get in the way. Be honest, be truthful. That's very important. And always, if you say you're going to do something, do it. If you ask me to do something, I'm going to do it, and I do it now. I don't put it off till tomorrow, next week, or whatever. My phone rings, and it still does. People still call me, they have a problem. I have to analyze the problem, figure out what it's going to take for me to fix it, and then I have to go back to them with my fee for what I want to do. My fees are not cheap. Some people think they are, but they're not really cheap. They begin at $25,000 and go right up, okay, to handle a problem. But how it began in Hollywood, it began basically with Dino De Laurentiis and Ralph Sherpy. A couple movies they did, and then they had a problem with a director and an actor on the set. That's what really got the attention. And word got around it how quickly I resolved it by sitting down with both individuals and letting them know that, you know, who was wrong, who was right, and the problems that they were creating and the money it was costing as a reason for what they created, and that it had to stop. And word got around. Next thing you know, there were lawyers, studios, agents, actors, actresses getting my number. Normally, the actors and actresses came to me through their lawyer or an agent or something like that there. And that's how they would get my number. Call me and I meet with them. I listen. Listening is so important. And
Watching
I
at
became
home.
known, and I handled my affairs. I handled the business quietly, didn't discuss it with anybody, and I still don't.
Yep.
In my book, I only mentioned one person. I did that for a very specific reason. And, but I mentioned a model, very famous model in my book, Naomi Campbell.
We are going to have to take a quick break, Ori, so we are going to leave that little cliffhanger and come back to that conversation in just a moment. If you are at home, stick around. We will be right back. But remember the things that Ori said, because this is so critically important to everybody. The keys to conflict resolution, to negotiation, is to listen to understand, and to understand someone else's perspective, and to find that win-win situation. We'll be back in just a few moments.
Proteja su salud y la de su familia con la cobertura adecuada. Si ustedes, como el resto de nosotros que sabemos que la causa número 1 de bancarrota en el país son costos médicos inesperados debido a una mala cobertura, entonces les recomiendo que escuche con atención. Un copago del 20% de sus gastos médicos originados por una enfermedad como cáncer o un accidente podría eliminar en días los ahorros por los que trabajó toda su vida. Sin mencionar la necesidad de tener acceso a los mejores médicos y hospitales tras el tratado en eventos inesperados. Como dueño de una empresa, usted trabaja más duro que los demás y usted es el mayor riesgo. Por eso, cuando se trata de elegir un seguro de salud, es importante obtener la cobertura adecuada para usted y su familia con Clark Health Insurance. Nuestra misión es ayudar a los propietarios de pequeñas empresas, familias y contratistas independientes a elegir el plan de seguro de salud adecuado al costo correcto. Nosotros simplificamos el proceso y respondemos a todas sus preguntas sobre sus opciones de seguro médico y comparamos las políticas y los precios, obteniendo la mejor opción posible para usted. Además, podemos ofrecerle planes de visión y dentales suplementarios que podrían ahorrarle mucho dinero. En cada paso, Clark Health Insurance está dedicado a usted y su familia, enfocándonos en sus necesidades y guiándolo hacia las soluciones correctas. Juntos encontraremos una manera de maximizar su cobertura y minimizar los gastos de su bolsillo. Somos Clark Health Insurance. Proteja su salud y comience a ahorrar dinero en su seguro hoy.
As a critical aspect of your operations, you need the right technology partner to provide you and your business the peace of mind of having reliable and efficient IT systems. In addition, with cyber threats, ransomware at an all-time high, adequate, continuous, and proactive data protection for your business is an absolute must. Hi, this is Roland Parker with Impress Computer Solutions. We are experts in tailored IT solutions and professional 24/7 IT support services. We proactively monitor, maintain, manage, and protect your IT and data assets. Additionally, we have the know-how and horsepower to do the correct procuring of any and all computer systems or software your company may need. Having the correct IT infrastructure and not being able to operate safely and correctly is very expensive and can eventually destroy growth. So take a decisive step and call me today for a complimentary consultation at 281-647-9977 for your unique IT needs.
¿Alguna vez has deseado obtener mayor concentración y energía para ser más productivo? ¿O has deseado volver a dormir como cuando eras un niño y despertar descansado y listo para salir con toda la energía del mundo? Hola, mi nombre es Marisa Burres con My Vital C. Nuestra empresa ha estado produciendo durante más de 30 años esta molécula que llamamos ESS60. Ayuda con su visión, ayuda a las articulaciones y la flexibilidad. Ordene My Vital C con ESS60 en aceite de oliva, aceite MCT o aceite de aguacate en nuestro enlace www.vitaless60.com. Contáctanos al 832-463-1919 o al 888-441-1993 o por correo electrónico a marisa@myvitalc.com.
República H, con Sofía García.
Una república que necesita saber cuál es el camino correcto. En República H te diremos qué pasa en cada rincón del país. ¿Qué pasa en tu estado? ¿Qué hace tu gobernador, presidente municipal o alcalde en materia de seguridad, salud, desarrollo, economía o servicios básicos para atender a su población? Tenemos desplegados más de 70 corresponsales en todo el país y más allá de las fronteras. República H, de lunes a viernes a las 8 de la noche por Heraldo Televisión.
Hey y'all, Fathead here with Fathead Spices. My goal is to give you Texas-made spices, rubs, and food products for all your events. Whether it's outdoor, indoor, or just hanging out at the deer lease, we got you covered. We're proud of our customer service. We want to help you make your food better. One thing's for sure, y'all, life's short, spice it up.
Welcome back to Power CEOs, the truth behind the business. I'm Jen Gaudet, your fearless host, entrepreneur, investor, and business strategist. And I am back with Ori Spado here in studio. And we were talking before the break about how important it is to listen. We have two ears and one mouth for a reason. When we're talking about conflict, when we're talking about negotiation, when we're talking about sales, they all require the same skill set. Listening to understand the person in front of us or the persons in front of us so that we can come to an understanding of their perspective. Because whether it's sales and negotiation, whether it's conflict resolution, there's always multiple perspectives, and we want to create that win-win situation. Just before the break, we were talking with Ori Spado about his book, The Accidental Gangster, and his upcoming film from his book. And we were talking about how he only mentioned one person's name in particular in the book. And we're going to kick off where we left off. Ori, who was that person that you mentioned by name? And what was the story behind it?
Well, one day I got a call from my friend Wyclef John from the Fugees. And Wyclef was very close friends with Naomi Campbell. And she was being stalked. And it was getting her quite upset, nervous. It had been going on for some time. And I remember it was around Christmas time. And so I spoke to Naomi. I said, I'll stop by. And it was a Friday night. It happened, she was having her Christmas party. I had a date and had to meet this girl at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And I got there a little early and I said, hey, shit, Naomi lives right a couple blocks away. Let me go over and handle that there. So I ran over to Naomi's house and she was having a party and so forth. And she took me in her office. She explained to me that she didn't know where the guy was, where he lived, nothing. All right, so I took whatever information. I said, I'll handle it. I said, I got to find the guy. And it's really funny because she said, look, I have the party. Why don't you stay here? She's a very, very beautiful woman. She is gorgeous. There's no question about that. And I said, look, I'm going to walk through because I got to get back to the Beverly Hills Hotel. And I walk through, I say hi to a few people that I knew there, and I leave. Went to Beverly Hills Hotel. I met the girl that I was dating. We had dinner, nice night. Next day, my phone's ringing from people at the party. Because after I left, Naomi ran running through and telling everybody, I just met the Godfather. I just met the Godfather. It was hilarious. But I ended up finding the guy. He happened to live in Long Island, New York, all places. And I got his address. I sent a couple guys there with instructions to get in the house. After they knock on the door, the guy answers the door. They go right in. Sit them down and put them on the phone with me. And I had a very nice 2 or 3 minute conversation. Well, it really wasn't a conversation because I made him listen. And I was very pointed in what I said to him. I said what I said, that if he ever even thought of Naomi Campbell again, the next time he would see those two guys would be the last time he see any faces on this earth. And that took care of the problem. And it went away. He stopped.
He sure listened to that.
It's all in how you talk to people, make them understand.
That's exactly right. And I think that shows a very good perception too. You've had a life of experience of listening to people and understanding people. And I really want to tie back to what you said in the first segment. And that's that if you understand people, that's what's critical for sales. It's what's critical also for conflict resolution. It's been what's critical in every piece of your life from what I could read in your book. And so for those people who are watching and listening right now, and they're wondering, because maybe they realize that they are talking too much, not listening, or maybe they don't have a good awareness or understand what to look for or listen for, what would you tell those people? Think of entrepreneurs who are dealing with this day to day and they want to begin that skill set.
Some people are willing to learn. Some people really want to learn. And, and those are the people that I enjoy working with. And those are the people who will succeed. It's the people who listen to things. Listen to other people that have been through things. We live in a society today. When I grew up, everybody was reading. Today, nobody reads. Nobody reads. And by the way, if they want my book, they can get the audio version. It's on audio too. And of course, it's on Kindle. I noticed podcasts. Guys listen to gangster podcasts like crazy, but they never buy books. More women buy my books than men. More women have been buying my book than men. Mothers buy my books for their children. Because besides the gangster stuff, there's a lot of other things that you can learn. How to succeed in business, how to overcome adversity, how to become a winner. Winners never quit. Quitters never win.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And fortunate for everyone else, it's being made into a feature film. It's being made into movies. So for those who maybe don't do the audio or don't do the reading side of things, you'll be able to reach even greater audiences with that, because for whatever reason, people have leaned more towards the film and watching the movie or watching the series or watching the show to learn than even from reading books these days.
All right.
So tell me, Ori, I know you've got a lot going on. I know you're making this book, and this book's being made and adapted into film version, but I also know, or I think I remember you sharing about a series that you have or that you're involved in as well. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about that?
This is an awesome story. I've become friends with this gentleman. His name is Frank Panessa. He's a former DEA agent. And he went undercover all 5 crime families in New York, plus Detroit, and plus Philadelphia, plus Sicily. He went undercover as an inmate in a federal prison. He went undercover as a Muslim. The name of the TV series is The Chameleon, and it's right now a A-list actor is reading it. We should have word. I hope, I'm predicting by Monday. If he takes it, it's a goal, and we'll be running with it. It's an awesome story. He's an awesome gentleman. And also involved in there is the guy who brought down Nicky Barnes, another DEA agent by the name of Louis Diaz, who is also a friend of mine. And Louis and I happened to meet many, many years ago under certain awkward situations. But we become friends and respect each other, and we love each other. And, you know, that's how life would go. I got a lot of respect for law enforcement. And, you know, that's something I'd like to discuss. Because we live in a society today where our kids have no respect for law enforcement. You know, one thing about guys like me and my friends, Sonny Franchese, Jimmy Cacci, all the guys that I knew in the life, we had respect for law enforcement. We always had a saying, they have a job to do and we have a job to do. They're the good guys, we're the bad guys. They catch us, they arrest us. We don't spit in their faces. We don't fight with them. We don't resist. Shit, they can call us up and say, you've been indicted. You got to report downtown to the courthouse. And you know what? We get in our cars and we would go down. Okay? But they never do that anyway. They like to come with 25 agents and do other things. But, you know, that's the respect that we have for these people. And, you know, that respect comes right back. Mm-hmm. Respect's a two-way street. If you respect people, they're going to respect you. If you're loyal to people, they're going to be loyal to you. Some people speak those words, but have no idea what they're speaking about. Now, it's my understanding that you're going to be interviewing one of the guys who's one of the 4 of my fingers later today, correct? Paulie Kozanowski?
Actually,
you're going to be interviewing him?
Yep, we've actually rescheduled. He had a personal issue come up, but we'll be talking next. He's on my next interview, yes.
Yeah. Well, there is a guy who lived his life just like I do. Those words mean something to him as they do to me. Okay? He lives his life with those words. He's a true gentleman. Got a lovely wife, Becky. I mean, they're my family.
Absolutely. And you know, I think it's very important that you brought that up. Loyalty, respect, those are things that are basic human values. And when we do respect other people, they have a tendency to respect us back. And I'm really glad that you brought that up.
Words, everybody thinks those words only apply to the mafia. No, you're wrong. They apply to all of us. If everybody lived that way, imagine what a great world this would be. And together we all can make this world a better place. It's going to take us all.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm so glad that you brought that up, because that is such important. It's important in business, it's important in life, it's important as human beings. Like, now we're talking about being human. That's what being human is. It is listening to other people, it's respecting other people, understanding that other people have a job to do just like we do, and not hating on them for it, or disrespecting them for their choice. So I think that's really, really powerful and important. And I know, Ori, one of the real big drivers for me reaching out to you is because you have been so instrumental in young men's life and women's lives. You have saved lives from a life of crime, and saved lives altogether. And I'm really curious, you're having your story made into a feature-length film. You are helping unknowable number of people, and you continue to show up. So that, to me, is a life of success, right? It's a life of legacy. You're leaving a legacy behind where you're helping other people. What's next for you?
What's next for me? Well, look, I wake up every morning and I say a prayer. All right? I thank the Lord for giving me another day. When I go to bed at night, I thank Him for the wonderful day and blessed day that He's given me. And I ask Him every day, keep me healthy, keep me mobile, because I'm very mobile, so that I can continue helping make this world a better place and help as many people as I can while I'm on this earth. The movie, the money, all that there are only byproducts of the things that I'm doing. Okay? It's the good. And I get texts on Messenger and in Facebook and all those, I'm on all of them, from people thanking me for the things that I post, my videos that I post, and what I'm doing to help make this world a better place. And, I love hearing those things. I got to be honest with you, okay? That I know I'm making a difference. And if I, at the age of 78, can make a difference in this world, then there's no reason why everybody else cannot be doing the same thing. It don't take none of your time to be nice, be kind to somebody. I walk into a grocery store. I'm kind to the clerks, the salespeople, the people who stock the shelf. They all know me when I go in the store. You know why? I say hello. They got a name tag. Hello, Brenda. How are you today? Beatrice, how you doing? They got name tags. If you see a person and you got their name and you call them by their name, you brighten up their day. People don't do that. They go in the store, pay, goodbye, got a grouch. No, I go in with a smile on my face. And people love it.
And the most beautiful thing about that, Ori, is that it doesn't cost anything to be kind. It doesn't cost anything to smile or to have respect or to recognize somebody with their name. So I think that's really, really powerful. And so I guess my follow-up question to that is, because you know that you're getting this, and sometimes you do get people to reach out to you and to share what the impact was for them, what is the legacy? Like, if you were to leave this earth tonight, what do you want people to remember about you? Like, what is that legacy you want to be left behind?
He helped make this world a better place. He changed the lives of a lot of people, made people better. And for every life that I help make better, if they all pay that forward, it just continues. It starts to snowball. And that's how we all got to operate and do it. It's very simple. Be kind to everybody you meet, folks. Even your enemies you could be kind to and turn them around.
Absolutely. I absolutely love that message. And so for those people who are watching and those people who are listening, you've had all kinds of gems from Ori. Please don't hesitate to reach out. His book is amazing. His story is amazing. He's been through so much. He's had so much experience. And something, Ori, that one of my very earliest mentors shared with me is that a wise man learns from his or her mistakes, but the wisest of the wise learn from other people's mistakes and learnings. And so I'd just like to hear, for the people who are watching who are afraid to fail or are afraid to make mistakes, because this comes up all the time. This is a question I get all the time from my audience. I have a fear of failing. I'm afraid to make mistakes. So they do things that are maybe out of alignment, or they play small. What are some things that those people can do so that they can overcome that fear and keep moving forward, so that they can fail forward, if you will, they can learn from their mistakes and continue to grow?
Well, that's an excellent question, okay? And if you're making mistakes, then you're doing something right, okay? Because if something is put in front of you and you made a mistake as a result of it, you got to take that there, learn from it, and keep going. You know, you can't stop because you had, you know, I'm thinking of something I'm proud of. For every adversity, there's a seed of equal equivalent. In other words, for everything good that happens, something bad will happen, and then something good and better is going to come along, okay? None of us are perfect. We all make mistakes.
That is such the truth. It's the human experience, right?
Right.
We are human. So Ori, are you okay?
Some people make a mistake and they curl up in a little ball and cry. No. Learn from that mistake.
Absolutely, and don't repeat it again. When we learn from those mistakes, doesn't mean we're not going to make other mistakes. It just means that we're not going to repeat the same mistake, and that's how we keep moving forward. Ori, if you could share with us, I know we've talked about your book. Ori's book is The Accidental Gangster. You can get it on his website. You can get it on Amazon. It's being made into a film and adapted for film. But Ori, for those who are listening on radio format or podcast format, how can they reach out, or how can they find you to learn more about you?
Well, just Google my name and you'll see my Facebook, my Twitter, okay, LinkedIn, TikTok. I'm on TikTok. I'm big on there. And I'm all over the place. Okay. And, you know, through my social media, there's my contact information. If you need me, that's how you reach me. Or you can write to me to the accidentalgangster@gmail.com.
Awesome.
Okay. The accidentalgangster@gmail.com. You go right there, and my manager reads all those emails and forwards them on to me.
That's fantastic, and I really appreciate and applaud you for sharing your story, for being so real, and for sharing what's come out of it. I think it's very important for people to see that no matter what happens, no matter what we do in life, we always have an opportunity to forge forward and to create something from that and to leave a legacy where we help people. Ori, thank you so much for joining us today. And before we end, because we do have to end unfortunately shortly, what is the thing that you want to point people to? What can they watch for so that they can keep in touch with what's happening with The Chameleon and what's happening with your film?
Definitely follow me on Instagram, The Accidental Gangster. Facebook, I got 2 Facebooks. You know, subscribe to my my website. Go to my website, subscribe to that there. And my website is right there on the screen, theaccidentalgangster.com. I think that's it, yeah.
Yep.
everything. And you look, and I'm very easy. You could call me the accessible gangster also. I'm very accessible to everybody. I don't run, I don't hide, I'm right here.
That's fantastic. What you see is what you get with Mr. Ori Spado. He is a phenomenal human being. He is doing a lot of good in our world. He is leaving a legacy and helping people everywhere, young people everywhere, to avoid that life of crime and to actually go into entrepreneurship and do something that's going to be really fulfilling for them. Thank you so much for your time, Ori. We really appreciate you coming today.
Thank you, Jen. It was my honor. Thank you.
An absolute honor and pleasure. I have so much respect for you, and I can't wait to see what comes next. And you, yes, you who are watching, listening to this, you just got all kinds of gems from Ori. He is an amazing human being. Go buy his book, The Accidental Gangster. You can Google it. It's everywhere. It is definitely worth the read, and watch for his feature-length film. And you know, I wouldn't be a very good coach if I didn't give you an action step. So we've just heard all kinds of amazingness, and some of the big gems were to listen, to understand, to find that win-win situation. So I challenge you to take action on one of the things that Ori shared today. If you're afraid of failing, don't be. Move through those mistakes, pick yourself up, and keep going. Whatever that action is for you, choose to do it today, not tomorrow, not next week, but today, so that you can move yourself, your life, your business forward, just that one little step. And unfortunately, all good things come to an end, but you can always catch us same time, same station next week, or at NowMedia.tv. Find the show. We'll see you next time.
This has been a Now Media Television feature presentation. All rights reserved.
Un equipo de impuestos es clave para cualquier negocio exitoso. En LMS Group, nuestro objetivo es garantizar que nuestros clientes cumplan totalmente con el IRS, así como desarrollar estrategias tributarias que produzcan rentabilidad, sostenibilidad y crecimiento. Cualquier responsabilidad o problema con el IRS que no se atiende de inmediato se convierte en problema grave, como cuentas bancarias congeladas, gravámenes fiscales y el embargo de sus ingresos. De hecho, cuanto más deje desatendido ese problema con IRS, peor se volverá. En LMS Group tenemos la experiencia para abordar y resolver ese problema tributario de manera rápida y efectiva. Llame a nuestros expertos y permita que en LMS Group seamos parte de su éxito.
You probably already know that first impressions are never forgotten. However, did you also know the way you feel about yourself contributes to your quality of life and the opinions of others? Hi, my name is Kristen Gunderson. My mission is to help people by flipping the switch inside their body, which in turn will help them to feel better and do more. In fact, once you feel your best, you will be able to pour into others, keep your cup full, and reach every goal you have set up for yourself, whether it's personal, family, or business related. The way you feel will dictate the way you think and the way you live your life. Feeling your best is necessary to achieve your goals. You deserve to put yourself first. Let me help you flip the switch so you can feel better and do more. Let's talk. I know I can help.
En esta era digital, las tarjetas de presentación de negocio son cosa del pasado. De hecho, la mayoría de las personas que las reciben las pierden en cuestión de minutos. La videotarjeta de negocios de NowMedia es un video de su negocio especialmente creado por nuestros expertos con toda su información de contacto, los productos y servicios de su negocio y puede ser enviado de manera rápida utilizando su teléfono móvil. Cientos de negocios ya están viendo la diferencia. Llámenos hoy al 832-384-9588.
Are you considering selling? More than likely, what is the most expensive investment? Your home? Now or in the near future? Before you throw away precious equity down the drain and live to regret it, I'd like to share with you 5 reasons why you need to stage your space, whether living in it or selling it vacant. Hello, I'm Kat Trelinos, President, Master Staging Professional, and CEO of Tada by Kat Next Level Staging and Design. Number 1, you need to stage because you'll make more money. According to the National Association of Realtors, more than 5 to 20% more staged. Number 2, so buyers can visualize the staged property as their next home. Stage because number 3, not staging will only help sell your competition stage homes. Successful realtors know that the key to competing is professional staging because it creates great online presentations, drives buyer traffic to the home, and brings the highest offers. Number 4, stage because it makes the home seem larger when strategic placement and flow are created with proper staging. And number 5, stage because then you can relax, knowing you've done everything possible to get a quick sale, not leave any money on the table. Let our award-winning team bring the magic of next-level staging to your property today. Be prepared to be tarad. You'll be glad you did.
You probably already know that first impressions are never forgotten. However, did you also know the way you feel about yourself contributes to your quality of life and the opinions of others? Hi, my name is Kristen Gunderson. My mission is to help people by flipping the switch inside their body, which in turn will help them to feel better and do more. In fact, once you feel your best, you will be able to pour into others, keep your cup full, and reach every goal you have set up for yourself, whether it's personal, family, or business related. The way you feel will dictate the way you think and the way you live your life. Feeling your best is necessary to achieve your goals. You deserve to put yourself first. Let me help you flip the switch so you can feel better and do more. Let's talk. I know I can help.
¿Alguna vez has deseado obtener mayor concentración y energía para ser más productivo? ¿O has deseado volver a dormir como cuando eras un niño y despertar descansado y listo para salir con toda la energía del mundo? Hola, mi nombre es Marisa Burres con My Vital C. Nuestra empresa ha estado produciendo durante más de 30 años esta molécula que llamamos ESS60. Ayuda con su visión, ayuda a las articulaciones y la flexibilidad. Ordene My Vital C con ESS60 en aceite de oliva, aceite MCT o aceite de aguacate en nuestro enlace www.vitaless60.com. Contáctanos al 832-463-1919 o al 888-441-1993 o por correo electrónico a marisa@myvitalc.com.
Broadcasting live from Houston, from the space city to the world. You are watching NowMedia Television.